Welcome to our first Back to Basics. Okay, so it's a, write this down, Back to Basics on how to write an essay. Okay? So, the basic thing we're going to try and clarify with you today is to build your confidence, maybe give you some little extra assessments or extra homework tasks so you can develop that confidence in understanding what you have to do. And so the first thing you have to realize is that an essay in English is a response to a question. So hopefully you've all written this down. It says here, discuss the main themes in a text studied this year. Okay? So I think the first step number one, is to read the question and ask what it's saying. Okay? So this question is asking me to talk about a theme. Probably more than one because it's in plural. There's an S there. So I got to choose my text, novel, poem, what have you, and then choose my theme. Okay? So for example, we read The Hobbit in year 8, and one of the themes in that is perhaps bravery or overcoming obstacles in the journey, in what Bilbo proves his bravery. Does that make sense? So my step 2 then, after reading the question, is to have something to say. I'm going to try and argue one thing. That's called a thesis. So what's my thesis going to be from the question? That's it, in a nutshell. That's the main thing I want to work on today. Just that. Okay? And then we'll talk about structure later on, about how it looks. So, I just said 2 things. Bravery and overcoming obstacles. These are a couple of themes. Or it might begin by interpreting the key word. Discuss the main themes. So, a theme is an idea that's reoccurring. That's what the question's saying. So discuss ideas that are reoccurring in a text. So I've chosen my text, the novel, The Hobbit by Tolkien. And then I have to have a thesis. Okay? In my thesis, I would probably mention the text and the theme. And these are keywords from the question. So I want to have those keywords from the question peppered throughout my essay. Alright, pretty straightforward. And strong essays are the ones that have something to argue. Discuss, in this case, means write an essay. / argument. So the essay is essentially an argument. In this case, I'm going to argue that bravery is the main theme in The Hobbit. Or one of. Bravery and persistence. The Hobbit persists in the face of many obstacles. And then, the essay is just examples of it. Oh yeah? Prove it. So, okay, the first instance. And where a lot of us are perhaps somewhat flawed, we have to fix this, is not retelling the story. We're not retelling the story, we're just arguing how I'm going to prove that thesis. Okay? So, in this case, maybe step 3 now, or step 2 is the thesis. I have to argue or write down what my thesis is. Then, I begin the essay. Okay? So, the key is to understand the question, and then write that sentence or 2 that you're going to try and prove. That's the key, I think, to improving all of you. Okay? Much like we did in the oral presentations for year 10. We had a clear thesis every time. It was a successful argument. You just went and proved it. Okay? Or your 10s did pretty well. They just had some oral presentations where they all had a really successful thesis. Okay, so we'll discuss the main themes. Write an essay about something that's reoccurring in a text. Well chosen, the novel. You can choose anything. Okay? And this is similar to what you might do in history or in legal studies or in any other subject you're doing, except for maybe mathematics. Is that we want that structure, that interpretation of the question. Is it really a question? You see a question mark there? No, it's not a question. It's more of a statement. We kind of call it a question, but it's not really. Okay? It's a statement. Alright, so the main theme I'm going to talk about is bravery and persistence. Okay? So my thesis is the main themes in The Hobbit is persistence, plural, are persistence and bravery. It's a statement that I have to go and prove. Okay? Alright. Maybe I'll start with the structure now a little bit, and then we'll end that lesson today, okay? So my first step, argue something that